Hey, it's Katie.
Hi, Katie. It's Mom. You ready to pod?
I'm ready. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Welcome to the Sunday Self.
Hi. Hi. Hello, and welcome back to the Sunday Self. We are struggling a little bit.
Thank you for clicking play today.
Yeah.
Whether this is your first video you're watching of the Sunday Self or you're a repeat listener/viewer, thank you. It means a lot.
Thank you.
Here.
Yeah.
We have a really exciting episode, and we're heading into our season 2 today.
Yes.
So season 2 is going to be all about relationships, the ones that we have with ourselves, the ones we have with others, whether it be friends, family, really, couples, romantic. So yeah, we're actually going to have on a guest this season as well, to talk a little bit about like narcissism, and, like, the red flags, relationships.
Right.
So
right. Yeah.
very exciting.
Yeah.
Yes.
We like a theme.
We do like a theme.
Yeah.
Who doesn't like a theme? So we're going to talk a little bit more about what we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
We talked about how we had a bit of a struggle in our relationship.
Right. Yeah.
As mother and daughter. So a lot of listeners wrote in saying, how did we get to the point we are now?
Right.
Because we definitely give very like Gilmore Girl energy.
That's what I've always dreamed our relationship would be like, and we're finally here.
I know. I think as a little kid too, that's what I pictured.
Well, because we watched the show together, and I always thought of us that way.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
you were going to be my best friend.
It was
and,
just
yeah, right.
opposite. We found our way back together.
We did, yes.
So we're going to talk about that. And then we're also just going to talk more about some advice of what we would give to our listeners who want to have that type of relationship with their mother specifically. We can't say for like father relationships.
No.
But we'll talk from like a mother-daughter perspective.
A mother-daughter perspective. Things that we've learned along the way that helped us grow and really make our relationship super, super strong and really wonderful.
Amazing. All right, well, I'll let you kick it off.
Okay. So like we said, one of our listeners, or I guess there was 2 listeners that asked us about like, what did it take to get back to where we are? And so it was a long road. It was probably about 10 years ago that Katie and I really started to butt heads.
Yeah.
She was a teen, and like many moms and teenage girls, we were butting heads, but we were butting heads pretty ferociously.
Yeah. No, it wasn't good. I don't think it was the norm, if you will. Not that there's a norm.
Right.
It was definitely, I think, a lot worse than like the standard.
Yes.
Teens being like, oh, my mom, and the mom being like, oh, my daughter. Like, I think
right.
it was worse than that.
Yeah, it definitely was.
So yeah, we have some people like to stand on this topic.
Yes, and it wasn't like an easy fix. It wasn't something that happened overnight. It wasn't a light bulb that went off. It was a road, and there were a lot of tears that were shed, a lot of angry things that were said. And, a lot of sleepless nights on my part. I don't know about you. Teenagers tend to be like...
I was upset too.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Because again, I always wanted us to have like that Gilmore Girl relationship too. So,
right.
Yes, I also hated that.
Yeah.
We weren't close.
Right. And and a lot of the work or the fighting and the fighting that I was doing to kind of bring her back to me, it was coming from a place of love because I loved her immensely. I mean, this is my child, and I wanted her to, be with me. So a lot of that fighting came from a place of love, but it was never translated like that to her. Like, all she heard was me coming after you all the time, and
we were
just
listening to each other.
Right.
Not to necessarily respond to each other or like understand. A lot of the times when we were speaking to each other, it was to defend ourselves.
Yes.
Or it was just to get our words out.
Yeah, it really was, and maybe and a lot of it probably was to hurt. I mean, I think I'm not necessarily saying that you intentionally go out to hurt somebody, but when the words leave your mouth, you're like, oh, that's gonna sting, and that hopefully
hopefully that'll end the conversation too.
Right.
Because like there gets to a point where you can say so much to someone, and then eventually it's like, all right,
yes,
we're gonna walk away.
Yes.
So I think a lot of the times we would just try to like, all right, let's just try to end this conversation.
Yes.
But we couldn't just say to each other like normal people, hey, let's table this.
Yeah.
We would just keep going until one of us
I
said
mean, do you remember how I would come back in your room? Like, I would leave like in a huff, and then I would circle back. because I couldn't let it lie.
Yeah.
Like I was like a dog with a bone. I'm like,
Literally.
I am going to get my point
And then
across,
you would
and
say
she
that
is going
one
to
more
understand.
thing, and then it would just get worse.
And I would pile on.
Yeah.
I remember piling on, and I remember saying the same thing
Just
over and over and
Yeah.
over again, just because I'm like, one of these times when I say it, it's going to get through.
yeah.
And
I
I
just
think
wasn't listening.
right.
Yeah.
And I think we're so used to doing that as parents with kids. Like we're so used to saying like even just normal stuff like pick up your shoes,
Yeah.
pick up your shoes,
Yeah.
pick up your shoes. And then like by the fourth time you're like, pick up the goddamn shoe.
You snap.
Right, you snap. And so
And
I
then
was
you're looking for shoes.
Yeah, you're looking for shoes. You're right.
Yeah.
And I was in perpetual snap mode. Like just, it went from 0 to 60 really fast.
Yeah.
But again, it was like one of these fights that I thought I was fighting for, it felt like fighting for my life. I was fighting for her life, like, because I wanted to make sure that, I didn't lose you in the mix kind of thing. So a lot of things, got us to that point, and regular teenage stuff, Katie is a product of divorce, so she was dealing.
Crazy
Not,
sentence.
I know it's such a weird. Okay, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so, like things were starting to break down with her dad around that same time.
Yeah.
A lot of different things. New school, high school. You had a little brother, which was taking a lot of my attention away, and a lot of different things went into play. So yeah.
I think the most important thing is like, for me, there was a lot of different things happening.
Yes.
Which were straining the relationship. But I would say if you are the daughter, I'll speak from a daughter's perspective here.
As only you
Yeah,
can,
exactly.
right, yeah.
Figure out what your main source of contentment is, or resentment. Resentment.
Well, your resentment, like resentment to me.
Yeah, or like where your anger is stemming from, of why you get so like, when you feel like, all right, I'm going to talk to my mom, and you can see the conversation getting to that. Figure out, is it really what she's saying, or is it because I feel like I was neglected, or like whatever it is? Like find your source of resentment and address that in yourself first. And then find a time to quietly and calmly communicate that. You were always, no, I was going to say you were always good at listening. You weren't always good at listening. But that's why we went to therapy, which was able to give us a place to communicate where it was almost like a translator. So I could say something, and then the therapist would say, well, how did you hear that? And then you would most likely not hear from the way I was trying to say. So she would kind of be our middle person, and vice versa. So if you need to have a mediator maybe in the room, it doesn't have to necessarily be a therapist. Maybe it could be your sibling or another parent or grandparent, whatever. But I think your timing has to work too. Like I can't, if I wanted to go to you after you had a really long day, or there's other things in your life stressing you out, maybe that's not the right time.
Yeah.
To have those conversations.
It just hit me now. Like, again, this has been like a little bit more than 10 years. So my memory's a little faulty when it comes to the particulars.
Probably,
yeah, right? Like childbirth, you kind of just forget that it was so painful.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking when you were talking just now, when you said about listening, and, I do remember her trying to tell me what it was that was bothering her. And I do remember me trying to tell her what was bothering me. But we were saying it in such a way that neither one of us were listening to each other. We were hearing it, but neither one of us were really listening. And it didn't. And I do remember her saying things like, maybe like neglected, or I don't feel seen, or whatever. I don't remember the exact words that you used. But I also remember coming back and saying, what? Like, I'm here for you all the time. There's nobody that's more present for you than me. Blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I always had an answer for everything she was telling me that was bothering her. And that's not what she needed at that moment. Like, she needed me to just listen and see from her perspective. I wasn't seeing it from your perspective. I was looking at it from my perspective, and only that.
Yeah.
And that
obviously
doesn't work, and that fuels it. So I would say that that's a big thing to watch out for when you're having an argument with someone that you love. It could be mother, daughter, it could be whoever you're having an argument with. Be mindful of what they're actually saying to you, what they're actually feeling. Put yourself in their shoes. And I never really did that with you. in the beginning anyway,
Yeah.
until we really did start being better at listening.
Yeah.
Because I do remember coming back at you and being like, no, you're wrong. Like, you don't, like, how could you say that to me? Like,
Yeah, it invalidates, I think.
yes.
But you can also do that on the flip side as a daughter too, and then shout to your parent, well, no, you're wrong. So then you probably leave feeling confused as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of the times I just hear this from other people in their relationships, but parents will always come back and be like, well, I did X, Y, and Z for you. I sacrificed X, Y, and Z for you.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, while all of that may be true, I think it's also important to remember that they're still your child and they're still a human that deserves, their respect and, listening to.
Mm-hmm.
So what would your advice be to listeners, to parents that do come back with the, well, I raised you, or I did the best I
could, right.
But yes, you could say that statement, but still then I think that may be like, well, I did the best. Like, that's it. I don't know what you're saying.
Right.
What would your advice be to listeners from the flip side of
I
how
would
to communicate?
I would say to the child, if your parent is saying, I did the best I could, give them grace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because a lot of times it is the best that they could do.
Totally.
Everybody comes from different situations. Everyone has different baggage that they're carrying around in life, and
It's also everyone's first time living.
it's everyone's
So you have to
right.
understand that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no book to
Yeah.
how to parent. There's lots of books on how to parent, but nobody reads them.
Yeah,
but there's like, you do the best you can with what you have.
Yeah.
Whether or not you're single parenting, double parenting, whatever the case may be, you're doing everything you can. And if that's your answer to the child, give your parents some grace. But to the parent, listen, even if you did the best you could, at least validate where your child's coming from. Because even if you did everything you could and you think you did the best you could, if your child still harbors hurt, then listen. Because it's never too late to repair. But you have to listen and understand where they're coming from. And if you have it in your heart, apologize for not being there at that moment when they felt that they really needed you, and maybe you couldn't be there because work demanded you not to be there or something else pulled you away. Apologize for it. There's no shame in saying I'm sorry, and it's no shame in saying I'm sorry even 10 years after the fact.
There's no expiration date.
There's no expiration date. Yeah. I mean,
it doesn't need to be the perfect circumstance either. It could be out of the blue.
Right.
Like, you don't need to wait for the perfect time to do it. The perfect time is now.
Now, right. Yeah. I mean, obviously when you want to have a good, serious conversation, you want to make sure that there's no distractions and you have the time to sit down, make an appointment if you have to, depending on what kind of relationship you have with your parent, and how old you are. But, just make sure that it's a quiet time where you can sit down. Something else that I thought about, and maybe I wish I would have done this with you. It's funny because I write notes to my kids all the time, like all the time.
They're one of my favorite things ever. Truly, they're beautiful notes.
Thanks. But I never wrote you notes about that during that time.
No.
Which is maybe something that I should have done, because it would have taken the yelling and the screaming out. Like, maybe I should have sat down and penned a letter about why I was so angry.
That definitely would have hit hard if I would have received that then, yeah.
Yeah, like maybe that would have been, because you would have been able to read it when you were ready to read it.
Exactly, and reread it.
And reread it.
Yeah.
And then you could have put red lines through it and been like, nope, you're wrong about this. And then sent it back to me. You could have lit a match if it made you feel better. Yeah. But maybe that's not a bad way to, if you're not sure of the right words to say, maybe sit down and pen a letter to the person that you're having a hard time with. And that way they can read it on their own. And, make sure before you send it, you reread it and you're comfortable with what you're saying.
Yeah.
I wouldn't write in anger.
No, don't write in anger.
No, write it when you're feeling like you have a clear mind and you can parse out your thoughts and really, dictate your feelings to that other person.
I think it's important to take blame out of it too.
Oh yeah.
I think if you're looking to rekindle a relationship with your parent or child, you can't come to that conversation with blaming one another.
Yes.
Even if you feel like, oh, I turned out like this because so like doesn't matter, or oh, if my child just did X, Y, and Z. remove it.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah, you can't place blame. Eventually, whatever kind of situation you came from it, if you like are having a bad relationship with a parent, and let's say you don't ever resolve that relationship, or that relationship, you use that in order to get away with things that maybe you can't do
turning
that
into
either.
a scapegoat, which
Yes.
that's on you.
Yeah.
And you need to take a look at something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. When I think back to our hard times, I never blamed you. I just wish that things were better.
Yes.
I never had blame
Yes.
put on you.
Yeah.
Which probably made it easier, I feel like.
I think definitely.
rekindle.
Yeah. I mean, and there was always love.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, of course we were mad at each other, but there was always love there.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to take ownership of yourself too, and want to repair yourself.
Yeah.
No
Which
matter
I
what the
wasn't ready
situation.
to, I think,
At that
was the
moment.
point too. Yeah, but I think that was very frustrating.
Well, you were like, again, present Marie has to give little Katie a little bit of grace because you were a teenager, you were still growing, and we got our we have our live audience member back again. So yeah, I mean, what would you say to like a teen that was having trouble communicating with her mother, like, and if she didn't feel seen by her mother?
Yeah, I would say
or parent, I guess.
It takes two. So I think if your parent isn't in a place where they're going to be able to sit down and hear you and see you, I think at that point it is better to then kind of be a little bit more isolated and kind of just wait for time does heal, mostly all. So wait for it to become a point where the parent kind of feels like, ooh, why is my child pulling back from me?
Mm-hmm.
Don't do things out of spite or to be petty.
Mm-hmm.
I think just kind of like keep things a little bit more to yourself and withdraw a little bit, because sometimes that can be healthier.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the time is right, then hopefully you guys will be able to come together and be able to have conversations. But it doesn't need to be a war.
It doesn't, no, and it also,
it feels like that, I think, in the moment.
Oh,
like
it totally.
The only option is to go to war with each other. So at that
Yeah.
point, I wish we would have just tabled things.
Yeah, I do too.
A lot more.
I do
or
too.
just realize, okay, maybe we just aren't ready yet.
Right.
And that's okay too.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if we could go back in time, we would do things completely different. We've learned a lot since then about, better ways to communicate. The one thing that therapy kind of helped us with too was that since we had a mediator there, she would keep asking us, like, did you hear what your mom said? Did you hear what your daughter said? And then we would have to repeat back and make sure that, okay, Mom, you did understand me, right? Yeah. And then you just kind of try to like help them through the hurt that they're feeling with whatever it is that you're arguing about or butting heads about, or I don't know, sometimes if maybe some of our fights came from maybe because we're similar in certain ways,
Probably.
I think
probably
maybe we are.
Yeah.
I think you're kinder, like, as far as like I don't know if you actually necessarily need the last word all the time. No, I think I do.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So, that probably didn't help either. Yeah. So, I would say give it time. Try not to keep harping on the same thing. And don't keep bringing it up daily. And never throw it back in their face. Like, once you get past it, you have to be past it.
Well,
it can't come back to bite you.
Yeah, no. And I wanted to ask you too on today's episode, like, when was the moment where you realized that things were going to be okay?
Oh, I remember the exact moment.
Tell us.
I came to visit you. Okay. You had moved out at that point. And we were at this point getting along. Like, we were on the right track.
Yeah.
You were older. Like, she was entering into like more of adulthood. She had got your first job and your first apartment, and so already the dynamic was different. Like, I could see she was maturing, But you said something to me that you had, like, whatever the main source of our problems were, you had kind of like made a misstep.
Yeah.
And you told me about it. And you cried and you were disappointed in yourself.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, oh, she trusts me.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, I was upset for her because she was upset. And I was a little disappointed, but I was like, it's okay. Like, she's going to make right decisions. Like, at that moment, since she knew that she felt bad about it and she was disappointed, I knew that she was maturing. She knew, like, her next decision was not going to be a misstep. Like, I knew that.
Yes.
And I knew I could I knew you trusted me finally.
Yeah.
And I listened and I didn't say,
I told you so. Or you didn't come back and you were like, oh my God, like you didn't tell me X, Y, and Z. Like you didn't, your only thing in that moment was to be comforting and to be like, okay, I'm here. And that's exactly what I needed from you.
And that was a long road for me to be able to get there.
Yeah.
And
for
not,
me too, to be able to feel like, okay,
you could
I
tell
can
me.
Tell you.
Yeah.
So I think if your child finally is taking down those walls and communicating to you, then be that person that they need you to be in that moment and put, I think, ego to the side.
Yes.
And I'm sure you were hurt too, that you were like, oh, like you didn't tell me, or like the whole situation. But I think in that moment you put also your hurt to the side.
Yeah.
Just to be there for me, which is exactly what I needed.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was one of those moments where I was like, I need my mom. And
yeah.
To be that.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
And it really was. Like, I remember driving home from your house that day with a smile on my face because I really knew, like, she's going to be fine.
Yeah.
She's got this. Yeah. Like, your confidence was growing and I could tell, like, you were going to be okay. And that's all I really ever wanted. I just wanted her to be confident in herself, in her choices, in moving forward in her life. Like, that's all I really wanted. And in that moment, I saw it. And then I wanted you to trust me as a person.
Totally.
And yeah, so like she said, it's 100% right. Like, don't throw it back in their face. If you were hurt by either your parent or your child, vice versa, whatever, don't throw it back in their face. Don't be, I told you so. You have to move forward instead of constantly looking back.
Yeah.
Put the pain behind you. The quicker you could put the pain behind you, the smoother and more beautiful the road in front of you is going to be.
100%. Yeah.
So,
love that.
yeah. Sure. So I would say that was probably.
That was the moment.
That was the
for
moment.
Me too, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was definitely a weight lifted.
Yes.
And I think another thing is, like, you don't have to go through so many hard things. If you're not happy, just leave. I think in my head, I was like, I need to go through this, but like I didn't. But now I left that knowing, okay, these are the things I will never accept. And then I learned red flags. So it was all knowledge after that.
Right.
I wish I would have learned those lessons sooner.
And we'll talk about those types of things in another episode about relationships. But yeah,
but
I think
I had to go through those things to be able to know now the things that I know. So although it was a long, painful journey,
you're wiser for it.
Out the other side,
you're wiser for
and
it.
You said that in other episodes too. Like, you can't be so hard on yourself.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, those are the things that make you.
That make you you. They make you. They like.
And it spins it too to make it a little bit more like happier.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. I mean, my God, when you come out of like a hellish relationship and you now have grown into a person you really want to be, and the respect you have for yourself
that's
is
that
just
no one can then take from you, which
no one
really,
can take
really
from you.
Powerful.
Right. And you'll never ever let anyone take that from you. Like, you understand now what it feels like. And the world it's brighter when you come through something like that. I'm not saying I advise everybody to go through toxic relationships.
No, don't. Like,
just
you
to
don't
feel
have
this.
To go through
right.
hard things. Like, you can just not.
Yeah, right. Right.
But if you find yourself in that. But back to the topic.
Yeah.
I feel like parents say this all the time to kids, so I do want to touch on that in this episode. But the phone works both ways. How would you respond to that as a parent?
Oh, like to say, like, you never call me?
Yeah.
Okay, so like if your parent and your child, you live in separate houses?
Yeah.
Okay.
And let's say your parents always hold that against you, like the phone works both ways.
No, the phone does work both ways. If your kid doesn't call you, well, first off, why isn't your kid calling you?
Exactly.
No, I'm kidding. But yeah, pick up the phone. And now,
Yeah.
like, we can text. It doesn't always have to be a phone
Yeah.
call. Everybody's lives are really busy. But if you have a good relationship with your parents, I don't think you probably do keep in touch with them.
Yeah.
If
No,
your
I'm saying
relationship
if you
is
don't,
strained.
though.
Oh, if you don't?
Yeah, and then that's the first thing that you're greeted with when you do call.
Oof, I know what you're talking about.
But I feel like I've heard a lot of people.
Yeah.
No, I've heard a lot of people say this though, where it's
Yeah.
like that's something. Or when they were little, I've heard a lot of people say that, like their parents, the divorced parents, would be like, "Oh, the phone works, but it's like a child." Or
Right.
like that stuff.
Yeah. So if
How would you
you're an
respond?
adult and
Yeah.
you have a child that lives in a different house, like if you are a parent, like a divorced parent,
Yeah,
you're living
yeah.
in separate houses, it's the parent's responsibility to check in, and you should be checking in all the time.
I don't know.
Let them know that you love them. It doesn't have to be a long phone call. It could just be a phone call to check in and ask them how their day was. Because that's all a child really wants. They want to know that somebody's there caring for them, watching for them, that they care how their day was. Just check in, say, how was your day? I love you. If the kid is busy with other things, let them go, let them live their lives. Be present as much as you possibly can, depending on your situation.
Yeah.
As far as when your child gets older and they leave the nest and they're building their own lives, yeah, I mean, set up a time.
Yeah.
Set up a time to call. Like we talked about this once on one of our episodes, like Sunday,
Oh,
you're
our
making your
first
Sundays.
episode,
Yeah, our
actually,
first
yeah.
episode. And we said, like if you have family that lives far away, Sundays are a great time to set up a time for a Zoom call.
It's the end of the week. You probably have a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Rather than on Monday where nothing's happening.
Right, right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Make it a Sunday thing.
Yeah.
And then it also puts a boundary of like, oh, maybe I only have 30 minutes this day. If you're still kind of rebuilding that relationship,
Right.
give yourself like, okay, this 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if it's a strained relationship, I understand
Yeah.
the not wanting to talk every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Because it makes it hard and it just maybe gets everybody upset. Maybe every phone call ends in a fight, and that's not good for either party. If it's a parent that, and I don't know if we're going to do a separate episode on this, but like a toxic parent that you can't
Yeah.
deal with, how do you keep the barriers
Yeah.
up so that you keep yourself safe, like your
Yeah.
own mental health safe? I think that the more mature of the duo probably needs to set the boundaries. And there's nothing wrong with setting boundaries if the parent is legit a toxic parent that
True.
doesn't bring you
Yeah.
any good and is actually harmful
Yeah.
mentally, whatever, physically, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you definitely do need those boundaries set up.
100%.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's sad, but there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. So, do you want to elaborate on that one at all?
No, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Okay.
I'm thinking of other questions that viewers may ask. Let's say there's a parent who really misses their child. How would you advise them to go about reaching back out?
Like because there was a fallout, or
Yeah.
just because I don't think it's ever too late to apologize. I don't think it's ever too late to reconnect with somebody, provided that your heart is in the right place and you're not doing it from a place of ego, that you're not doing it a place of like vindictive, like I'm going to make sure they understand why, I am an important person in their life, and that's dealing again with that toxic relationship, that narcissist, that, so provided that you're coming from a place of love and you really want to reconnect and you feel maybe bad about the way things were left, I think that's where you need to come from. You need to actually say those words and make sure that they are, make sure that you pay attention to every word that comes out of your mouth and try not to throw old fuel onto it. Like don't keep bringing up the past. You can even start a conversation with like, hey, I've been giving how we left things off a lot of thought. I'm feeling really bad about it. I was in a really bad place. I'm feeling like, I've gotten into a better place in my life, and I'd like to have you in it as much or as little as you're willing to. And then go from there.
Coaching.
What?
People's mother. So you're preaching on this episode so good. Yeah, seriously.
Okay, thanks, Kate.
No, that was great advice, seriously.
Okay. I'm a great advice giver, Kate.
No, you really are.
No, I'm kidding.
You could do this pod by yourself.
I could not do this pod by myself. It's so funny. I said that to you. You definitely could.
No, I think you could too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we gave some good advice on this episode. Again, we're going to keep the topic of season 2 to be
relationships. Yeah.
So if this episode resonated with you, whether you're on the parent side or the child side, and you're listening to this thinking, wow, I really wish I could communicate with, whoever.
Right.
Send this to them. Maybe you're scared to have those conversations or to give them this advice. Have them listen to it.
Right.
Maybe they'll hear different things out of our podcast than you initially hear.
Yeah.
But hopefully it helps bring you guys a little bit closer together.
I always think too, like if you're really, really thinking about something and it's really weighing on your mind, there's a reason. Maybe the universe is telling you something, and maybe that person's thinking about you too. Totally. I guess the key is that you both have to be, unfortunately, it does take two, and you both have to be in the right place in your life for it to matter and for it to change and for it to develop into a good relationship. I think, like I said before, what got Katie and I through our bumpy parts were, first off, she's getting older, and we learned timing. We learned a lot along the way.
We both were just able to say the past is the past. We both want to move forward.
We both want to move forward, and we both really, really wanted this relationship.
Totally.
And so,
mother-daughter relationships are very special, and there's always moments you're gonna be like, oh, I need my mom. So I think if you're feeling like that, then have those conversations.
For sure.
And you may have to be uncomfortable and drop your walls a little bit, but hopefully it'll be reciprocated.
Yes.
Happy.
Yes.
Environment.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. So.
I want you to tell everyone really quick about Glimmer. Because I've been thinking about that a lot recently.
Oh, yeah.
It's not related to our topic whatsoever.
No.
But it's really sweet, and I think going into the week.
Oh, she put me on the spot because now I'm like, I have to remember.
Oh,
okay,
instead of triggers.
Yes, instead of.
We're looking for glimmers.
I didn't have to say anything, but no, you're right. That's exactly what it was. Yeah. Because we're also trained to look for like negatives things that set us off.
For shoes.
What's that?
Shoes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Instead, look for, like Katie said, the glimmers, like the sweet things that happen along the way every day.
Yeah, like the squirrel when it finds its nut it found from like last fall. Like the cute little things. Anything happy in your day. Maybe your matcha came out really, really good, or you saw dogs playing in a park, or anything. Like you put on a pair of jeans that didn't used to fit you well, and they fit really good today.
That's great.
Glimmer.
There are so many little things that, honestly, if you do open up your eyes and pay attention to them, it really can reset your whole day.
Yeah. Instead of spending so much time focusing on all like things that like annoy you.
Yes.
Swap that with paying attention to things that make you really happy.
I mean, you said that even in our first podcast, which I thought was really, really cool, that when you do your journaling, that you write your little things down. And I thought that's so nice because it's such a good reminder, and it lets her replay her day. Yeah. And she only, not that she only, but you write down these little wonderful things that happen. It really kind of flips the script on how you might have seen like a bad day.
100%.
Yeah.
Even now when I flip through my journal, I'm like, sometimes I caught myself writing like, I was really annoyed today about that. And then I realized the next day I was definitely still annoyed by it, but I wrote, the woman at Kimberton Whole Foods, I chatted with her for an extra 5 minutes. It was really nice. And it was like, I started writing down the positives, and now that's all I remember about.
So great. I mean, that's such a
healthier perspective.
Oh, so healthy.
I love it, and I like the word.
Yeah, you do like the word.
It's awesome.
You do.
Like glitter. It's just like glitter, but I love it.
You know how I feel about glitter, though, but I like glimmer.
Yeah.
I don't like glitter, but I like glimmer.
It's the imaginary glitter.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So we're going to wrap it up?
Yeah, is there anything else you want to say today?
I don't think so. Hit us up with questions and...
What's up? You're a line. That's really something I keep saying. I don't know why.
But yeah, let us know what your thoughts are. If you have any questions, if there's a topic you'd like us to discuss, like us.
Like, share, subscribe,
Yep.
comment. We really want to communicate with you guys.
Yeah.
Also, let me know. Do you guys like my shirt?
Oh.
Is it giving pilgrim, but like pilgrim chic? I don't know what my thoughts are on it. This may be something that goes out of my.
I gave that to you.
You did.
Yeah.
Because you didn't like it.
Yeah.
And I
But it
wore
looks cute on you.
pajamas because it's kind of giving like.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Pajama-y vibes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Let me know in the comments if we like this shirt or not, or if it's time for me to move on.
I definitely did not like it on me. Oh my god, the bottom shirt's the one I gave you too.
and my pants.
Are from my cousin.
Yeah. Shout out to you. Love these pants.
But yeah, I think it looks cute on you.
Thanks. Well,
Yeah, I know
comments.
it's a controversial top.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah,
Mixed emotions. I feel like a trad wife.
a trad wife.
Yeah, it's a traditional wife.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right. Well, now I'm not liking it as
Yeah, I
much.
don't like it as much either.
Okay.
All right. Well, so let us know. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah,
Have a
thank
great
you.
Week. Oh, Max is
And
okay.
tune in next week for
Yeah.
another episode. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye everybody.